Nerdcast assemble!
Stay dandy, baby. The hype train just threw a massive chunk of coal into the oven because the very first official Kara battle takes place in this episode of Boruto Naruto Next Generations. This is it, guys. This is the moment I've been waiting for to finally see a member of Kara go into battle, and it's none other than the very creepy and disgusting Deepa. And what I thought was really surprising is that the very first battle of the series is not going to be a member of Kara battling against Boruto or one of his friends, but actually against another familiar character, one that we haven't seen for a very long time. In fact, I don't believe we've even seen this guy since Naruto Shippuden. It's none other than Omoi of the Hidden Cloud Village. And if you remember anything about this character, he is an incredibly neurotic, negative, and worrywart type of character, which is to say he's a character who always thinks of the worst possible situation and fears that that's actually going to go down. And basically it's picking up from the end of the last episode where Boruto and his team was met by these hidden cloud ninjas. It's Omoi and his team who are investigating this whole Hashirama cell situation because the Raikage feels it's worth investigating. Of course, luckily Konohamaru is there to defuse the situation between the two groups, and that's when they decide that they're actually going to head after those purple-haired ninja who are apparently from a place called the Land of Haze. Basically, there are these poisonous ninjas who are desperately trying to get the Hashirama cells to their land and cross their border, because once they do that, they're basically going to be in the safe zone. Now, their overall reasons for wanting the Hashirama cell have not been revealed outside of the fact that they are going to be beneficial to their village and their people, but it is also worth noting that they can't move very fast when using these Hashirama cells because they can get unstable, they can get crazy, and who knows what they could potentially do, so they have to take their time, which means, of course, there's a lot of tension with Boruto and their group slowly making their way towards them, the Hidden Cloud Ninja being involved, and of course Deepa, who finally appears in this episode, arriving in the Land of Silence at the beginning and basically taking out anyone in his way to get some information about the location of the Hashirama cells. This episode does a good job of building up who he is, but not necessarily showing what his abilities are going to be. We do know that he's incredibly durable and he's a pretty good fighter overall, but what his speciality is in terms of like ninjutsu or, you know, his shinobi skills still remain to be seen. But they do a great job of actually showing how sadistic and truly crazy that he is in this episode, as it doesn't take long before he actually ends up catching up with Boruto and his team, and that's when Omoi decides that he's going to fight against him with his team members, while Boruto and them go ahead to try and find those purple-haired ninja from the Land of Haze. And basically, that brings us to the part of the episode that I wanted to talk about the most, which essentially is Deepa fighting against Omoi and his team. And while it is not the most impressive fight in the entire series, it certainly is a great way to build up how powerful these members of Kara are going to be, as throughout the entire battle, Deepa basically doesn't even try. He's basically having fun with these guys a lot, and even allows himself to get hit by this really big technique. After dodging all their attacks, they start to run away, and they create these lightning clones, which are supposed to basically just shock him and electrocute him, but that doesn't end up working, and he's able to take out the two other members of Omoi's team with some pretty powerful punches, and then we finally get Deepa versus Omoi, which again is basically just more of Deepa licking his lips devilishly as he kicks the crap out of Omoi, who decides to bring a lot of his signature abilities to the battle, which mostly just amounts to him just swinging his sword and using clones and trying to trap Deepa, but it doesn't seem to work. And I think we're finally starting to learn a little bit more about what Deepa is capable of here. Like I said, we don't know what his real abilities are quite yet, but his body seems to be augmented in a way that he can basically block just about any sort of attack just with his body himself. Like, Omoi straight up swings his sword directly into his arms and into his back, and he doesn't even manage to cut him at all. It's almost as if Deepa's body has been sort of like enhanced, and it's like metallic and almost sort of like hardened to the point where it's going to take something really powerful to actually crack through him. Basically, he's just really freaking armored up. Nothing is going to stop him here, and it's really cool because at the end of the episode, he even implies that he's actually going to finally start to get serious, basically showing that he is just taking his time in this battle and enjoying it quite a bit. He seems like the type of character who seems to enjoy torturing and defeating his opponents, and maybe even he has some eye abilities as well, or maybe it's just the overall aesthetic of his design. He has these very piercing red eyes, but there's a scene where he's running towards Omoi, and you almost hear a sound effect which is similar to, say, the Sharingan or even the Byakugan, and maybe that's combined with what his actual, like, body can actually do as well. But it was a great demonstration of him, and getting to see what, like, his actual, like, image is going to look like without the cloak and everything. He's got like this weird black armor that's going up his right arm all the way up to his shoulder, and then he's just got the creepy Roman numerals number 7 on his face. That with his creepy smile and those piercing red eyes makes him a very disturbing looking character. And like I said, I don't think he's even done yet, and here's what I think might be one of the biggest shock, because the Boruto series has made some pretty bold decisions in terms of its storytelling, in terms of what it wants to do with some of its classic and legacy characters. I don't know if the series is going to have the balls to kill off Omoi here. I mean, the whole point of Deepa and his like entire philosophy is that if you run into me, you're not going to live. You're going to die. Everyone he runs into ends up getting killed. No mercy for anyone. And if they're going to kill Omoi in the series right here, I can just hear the Omoi fanboys just getting super pissed off at this. And I really don't want them to do this. I really hope they don't go that far with it. But if they do it, it is going to show how serious these guys really are. And it'll be a moment that lets us recognize that Kara is something not to mess with. They are going to be incredibly threatening and dangerous, and they're not something that you need to look down upon. If anything, though, I thought this was a solid introduction to Deepa, if anything, as well as diving a little bit more into the characters of those, like, Land of Haze ninjas, because they even show that they have a really strong connection with all of their brothers, and how they even do manage to have a little bit of honor in some senses, despite the fact that they like to use poisonous kunai. But then again, that's sort of the run-of-the-mill stuff for Shinobi at this point. That's just kind of the thing that they actually do. And I can't wait to see how all of these storylines are eventually going to connect with one another. All I know is it was a pretty good episode. So, what's the rundown on this episode of Boruto Naruto Next Generations? Solid addition to the Kara arc, and easily, I think, the most exciting episode thus far. Deepa's an interesting character because, again, he was created specifically for the anime version. He did not exist in the manga, but he is an official member of Kara, and I wonder if the plans to include his character were created before even the manga version, like they were planning on using this character, kind of like how Urashiki was used in the anime version as well. And he feels natural. He feels like he's actually a part of the group. And as someone who reads the Boruto manga as well, I'm always trying to look for any sort of clues or hints as to how he deeply connects to the other members. And the fact that he has an augmented body, which seems to be able to protect himself from sword swings, shows that they've at least been doing their research and are trying to make him fit in with that group. And you'll see a lot more of that from the other big members of Kara as well. But still, he was just a super creepy character. That's all there really is to say about him. It's just his overall design and demeanor, and it totally works. And I've been waiting for a really good, threatening villain like this in the Boruto anime series, and I think it's going to be a real shock to Boruto and his friends when they end up going up against him. I don't know what sort of grand plan they have for Deepa in the end, if he's only going to be a part of this arc, or if we're going to get another original Kara arc going forward that includes him yet again, or if they're even going to try and keep him in the background of everything here. I don't know what they have planned for this character, but I am intrigued, and I cannot wait to see more. Like I said, this episode was exciting. It didn't completely blow me away, but it's got me really excited yet again, especially because the last couple episodes of Boruto have been kind of meh. This definitely brought my hype up a lot more, and a lot of it does, of course, involve the fact that we got a member of Kara who's going into battle against a classic character from the series who was loved by the fans, which I think is great. And Omoi has not changed at all. Like, again, I love that they didn't forget that aspect of his personality. I thought that basically he was going to be like a completely different character when they showed him, but then he finally started to go back to his ways of imagining the worst things possible, and his teammates commenting on it were funny. So it's classic Omoi all the way, which I think is really great. And I think this was a classic episode in some senses. It's the beginning of some really exciting stuff, so let's get excited for that. There's a lot more to come. So yeah, there it is. So I liked this episode, and I had no complaints with it. Any that I do have, again, are superficial and are very nitpicky, which is why I'm going to drop a 5 out of 5 on this one. As far as entertainment value goes, I really loved this one. You know, the typical reviewer might give this a 4 or 3 out of 5. I really enjoyed this one, and it's got me excited for more, and I'm just glad to finally see some Kara action. That's what it's all about, and I don't want to know what's going to happen to Omoi, if he's going to die, if they're just going to, you know, leave him on his deathbed or something. Like, this is going to be a big moment for the series, and I cannot wait to see people react to it and to hear their reactions, which is, of course, why I love to do these reviews in the first place, and why, of course, I want to hear you guys sound off in the comment section below telling me what you thought about the latest episode of Boruto Naruto Next Generations. What did you think about the formal fighting introduction of Deepa, his overall abilities? Is he going to kill Omoi? Give me all your thoughts about this episode and what you hope to see from the rest of the Kara arc in Boruto, Naruto Next Generations. Thank you guys for watching this review. Please subscribe to the channel for more videos just like this one. If you liked this video, I implore you to hit that like button. It not only helps out my videos, but ensures that other people can see my content a lot easier. I also want to thank all of my patrons who've been checking out my Patreon page. You guys are awesome. You're really cool for making donations every single month, and I cannot thank you enough for that. Remember, first-time donators, I'll review an anime series of your choice. And I'd also love to add your name to this list of people who donate to the channel every single month. You guys are freaking great. So thank you guys so much for watching this review. I'll see you all next time. And as always, stay down there, baby.